Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this Swissborg Masterclass. I'm joined by Cyrus Fazel, co-founder and CEO of Swissborg. Cyrus, how are you doing? Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much, Bijan. It's very excited to be with you. And yeah, I'm great. Living the life in the bull market and trying to make sure that's how you can master and be able to hack the financial system while investing into crypto.
Yeah, great times in the bull market. What are you making of all of this, volatility that we've been experiencing lately? How has it been over on your side?
Yeah, it's been good. I think so. If you have your discipline and you're able to emotionlessly be able to invest, I think so. You're very good at you get really good at these things. And obviously it takes time. It takes multiple cycles to get to really understand yourself and be able to, I would say, master these markets. Yeah,
absolutely. So let's dive into it. Let's talk about, Swissborg. Let's talk about you. And, I always like to start with getting everyone's background. What drew you into Web3 and crypto? Tell us your story, where you started and how you got into this space.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for asking, Bijan. Well, I always start by the fact I say I'm from a family of nouveau pauvres. So I'm Iranian and Swiss background, where my family essentially lost everything. They went from a very, high type of living and having a great status of life and everything, and then essentially got to lose everything. And when you start by here in a family where you lose everything, well, you really have to understand how to not lose what you left, but more importantly, how you're able to grow yourself and be able to hack this financial system I just said before. And so I got into finance in 2007, which was great times because the 2008 was one of those big bear markets, the biggest one we have seen actually for the last, I would say, 20 years. So I got into wealth management, started working in private banking, started working then after in hedge funds because I really thought that private banking was interesting. But the masters, the wizards, the best people you really could learn from are hedge funds guys. Because hedge funds had the macro guys, like Raoul Pal, he's like one of the great macro guys. But then you had all these systematic funds. And there's so much different strategies that were tailored for each different type of hedge fund. So I got to work in there for, practically 9 years and, discovered Bitcoin. And I heard about it, but I didn't get very excited. And Bijan, as probably having family in Iran is very difficult to send them money, right? It's just pretty much impossible. You can't Venmo people or you cannot, send on PayPal or whatever. There's no way to send money to Iran. So the only way that there was the possibility was essentially Bitcoin. And this was the 70th birthday of my dad. I didn't know how to send him any money. Or a gift or whatever. And long story short, I talked to my cousin, I said, hey man, how can I send you some money? He's like, well, Bitcoin, dude, it's easiest. So I realized the potential that was behind Bitcoin at that moment, because I realized that Bitcoin was borderless, that Bitcoin, you could send it to whoever you want. Bitcoin, you could really own it. And finally, Bitcoin could finally attach me to my personal roots and family members. And that was my first way of saying this is not only a speculative tool that people believe into it because there's a great community around it. It's a freaking great product. It's just a much superior product to anyone else. And this was 2016. So obviously the space has evolved a lot. This was definitely my aha moment. And I got very excited. And just 2 days ago, no joke, I sent USDT to my dad, who's still in Iran. And he got very excited about the USDT got 2 days ago. Yeah.
I just love that. That's a great story. And really kind of why Bitcoin and crypto was invented, right? So it's just great to see that use case in real life action. So how did this bring us to Swissborg? You got into crypto, you got into Bitcoin, you understood it. How did you go from sending your family money in Iran to creating Swissborg? And where are you guys today, and how have you grown to where you are today?
Yeah, thank you so much for that. if people understand this, is in hedge funds, you're always seeking for alpha. And alpha, what it means is that you're able to beat the market. There's a lot of definitions, but let's make it easier. It's just how are you able to beat the market? And, it's very difficult to beat the market out of a constant, a lot of these hedge fund guys will be like 4 or 5 years and they blow up, right? And I was always looking into that. And then more importantly, I was realizing myself that although I was, evolving and, growing my status, I was definitely growing some part of my wealth. I didn't really feel like I was going to be a game changer in terms of would people remember me or, what my legacy would be like, yeah, well, I was a hedge fund guy, or maybe eventually I would have built up my own hedge fund, but that would have not been the big thing. So with the co-founder, we tried to look at how we could build a robo-advisor first. And this was managing just traditional, TradFi type of strategies. And it was cool. And, the performance, products, everything was nice, but it was missing that huge kick. And that kick that I discovered as a kid, doing all these peer-to-peer Napster platforms or Emule, all these things that you could be able to exchange those videos or those MP3 musics or those photos, whatever. This free economy that was happening, but was not happening with the finance world, right? And slowly but surely, we, obviously, if you guys remember 2016, Ether was at $10, Bitcoin was at 1,000. So when you see as well that you're in the right spot, you start talking to everyone, right? So you start creating meetups and this and that, or attending meetups, or going to Crypto Valley, which is in Zug, which is not too far from here in Switzerland. So we're starting to meet a lot of people, and there was already not the mention of DeFi, but there was the mention of Web3 and how essentially Ethereum was going to be this new platform where you'll be creating new tokens. And then there was this ICO era as well coming at the same time, which was crowdfunding. I was a massive fan of this. So I was like, dude, this is like too good to be true. So I just said to co-founder, like, dude, I know we built a lot, but let's put everything to trash. And he's like, yeah, man. And we converted all our fiat, everything that we had into crypto. And that was a smart move. That was early, just the beginning of 2017. And that was a very financial responsible decision. I know people say I'm stupid, but what was it? I mean, that was the game changer in my life. And I'm sorry for those listening. I don't necessarily recommend you guys to do that. Please. I was still a financial professional back in the days. So not everyone knows what this market is, and the volatility of this market is still crazy, right?
Yeah, not financial advice, of course.
No financial advice on that one. Or is it bad financial advice? Let's put it that way if you're not a seasoned trader. And going a little bit through that, we started to say, we're participating these ICOs. For those who don't remember, it's the initial coin offering. It was the second bit in the cycle. Number 2 was really about that, is how these decentralized applications is going to change the world. And I said to the co-founders, like, dude, we have to do an ICO. I was like, do you think we're going to manage? And like, yeah, we're going to build our best ICO platform. And we're going to do it, and then we're going to do it for many other people, and it's going to be awesome and all that. So we built this platform. We created a huge community around it. It was very international back then, and we did some stellar numbers. We were able to raise $52 million with 24,000 plus people out of 149 countries. So it was a very decentralized ICO, and it was amazing. It was at the end of 2017, the early 2018. But this has kickstarted our dreams and has pushed even more, our vision into actually having funding and having more products to be built. Obviously, after it was complicated, it was the one of the worst crypto winter we ever had, but it was still great and good enough for us to, put on these hoodies and code and build products for our lovely community.
I love that. Listen, I think if you can be here today after the bear market we just went through, feel like you're doing something right. And I want to talk to you about that ICO, because one thing that really stood out to me, not just about the amount of funds that you raised, but the amount of different and unique participants that you had in it. I thought that was pretty impressive. what do you think, or what did you guys do that you think was key to getting that significant investor interest?
Yeah, that's a great question, Bijan. We did exactly the opposite of what was being done. And I think so that's for an entrepreneur is that you always have to go into a market where there's other competitors. And what you have to do is probably do exactly the opposites. It's very difficult. So not in everything, because we did like multi-chain. We were a multi-chain platform, ICO platform, and multi-fiat. It was way too complicated. We went crazy. But you're able to invest into fiat, so with the GBP, euros, and Swiss francs, which was very rare back then in the days. We were doing KYC as well and on-chain AML, which is not a good thing for business, but it's a good thing for regulators. And this has enabled us today to be where we're at as well. And then I would say in terms of crypto, we accepted Dash. Maybe some people know what's Dash, but XRP, Litecoin. I think we did some Doge, Ethereum, we did Bitcoin. We did every pretty much token back in the days. So we raised a lot in different tokens, which was good. And the most important, I would say, in terms of branding and mission and all that, is that we brought this Swiss touch, but we brought our faces a lot. Back in the days, it was very difficult for people to, and still even today, a lot of people are anonymous, not for the wrong reasons, to be honest. I could understand like a lot of people want to keep their confidentiality, but we were like, no, we're going to show our faces. We're going to show our faces. We're going to be in Switzerland. You're going to meet us. And we start doing international tour of everywhere. Besides, the countries that are not allowed to do ICOs, but we really showed our faces, and people were able to meet us, and we did create a real community of people, not only online but physically, and I think so that was a huge boost for trust, I would say, in our core message and everything else.
Yeah, absolutely. I think especially in that time, right? I think now we're seeing a little more people breaking out of being anonymous, but especially during that time, I feel like every founder, every person that was behind the project, you didn't know who they were or what they looked like. So I think someone coming in and showing their face, that automatically stands out. So I love that zigging while the rest of the industry is zagging type of strategy. So speaking of your ICO and what, brought in such a large number of different investors from all over the world, I want to talk to you about the community over at Swissborg, because it seems to play a really big role in a lot of things that you guys do, with, your initiatives like your referendums. I saw your BorgPad, which I, absolutely love things that promote community and give, your people that are in the community and supported you a chance to, give back to them. How has this approach, this community-centric approach, impacted your decision making and product development, and how is that different from what you've experienced in the TradFi world?
I'm gonna have to start by that one. It's exactly the opposite, and that was it got as well to our mission. Being able to create a zero-sum game in finance is what has been done for a long time. Being able to hide fees, to be able to tend to someone to be misinformation and saying, in TradFi is like, dude, it's too complicated for you. Just give me the money and don't worry. I'll make sure to chip in like sharp ratios, sortinos, and whatever different financial jargon that enables you not to understand what I'm going to explain, but you trust me because I'm smart and I'm from this huge, whatever corporation. The whole crypto Web3 thing is exactly the opposite, right? It's not I don't want to give all my data and you suck my data out of it. It's how you could really empower everyone to take decisions and not only in their finance, but in their everyday lives, right? That's what we're all fighting for. I hope that people that are long-term in this business think about decentralized governance and really financial empowerment to every person that is actually into crypto. And I think so that has been the Swiss way as well of us. People don't forget about this, but crypto is very Swiss, so it's quite anonymous to some extent. But then a lot of things is transparent too, which is very Swiss too. Then you have this decentralized governance, which is extremely Swiss. and how you create these referendums and these initiatives where people could vote and all that. So a DAO in some way has, a lot of similarities to what thankfully Switzerland has been built for now, 100 plus years. So that was a bit there. We took those things, how to build this. We don't vote on everything because if not, we don't do anything. We just organize voting, and we're still too young. So obviously, sometimes there are a lot of shots that are taken from the executive team or myself personally. But the idea is still to make sure that whenever we're going towards a direction, and this direction is quite cool, or what we think is great, but some people don't think is great, we always make it vote. And now even more is every month. So every month we have a votation on a direction. And sometimes it's a clear yes or a clear no, or sometimes it is a big discussion, and we try to educate our community members. And the reason we do that is for two reasons: is to make sure we're building the right things for our community members, to give, of course, utilities of our token as well. And then maybe the third one, it's just to make sure we are giving the responsibility to our users and our community members. So I think so the other part is that at the end, we do put a lot of responsibility on them. And I think so that, if you're driving the car, or at least showing which direction the car should be driven, you're going to be much more, excited about that race. Where you're just sitting and you're watching TV and just looking at that race, well, then it's probably still cool, but it's going to be very passive. And I think so that's the idea, is to really bring more people to be active and enjoy the front running seat. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that incentivization and that responsibility that community has in Web3 gives us ownership, or makes us feel like we have ownership over that, what we're involved in. So I think that's one of the beautiful things of Web3. It could be a gift, could be a curse, right? But I think it's definitely very unique to where we are in this industry. So you touched on, your Borg token and some of the features that your platform has. So I definitely want to, kind of dive into the tech that makes you guys stand out. You have some really interesting products and obviously community-based features that, we'll also touch on. But one thing I want to start with is, can you explain the tech behind your Meta exchange and how, because I noticed that you're integrating centralized exchanges, DEXs. To me, it kind of feels like I'm using, like a Kraken combined with a Uniswap. And I think that's so cool and so unique to this industry. So can you talk about what advantages, this offers your users compared to, maybe using a centralized exchange or just using a DEX?
100%. As I said earlier, I think so whenever you're in a market that has a confirmation of having a huge demand, you really have to try to figure out what are the big problems. And then you have to create a product that really is able to, essentially find solutions to those problems. And what we've seen is, okay, in 2017 or 2018, you had few sexes. Some of them didn't have great fiat gateways. I mean, most of them didn't have fiat gateways at all. So you had to, go through Coinbase, buy some Bitcoin or Ether, then send it to another centralized exchange. And then, that centralized exchange will exchange with another token. It was quite a mess. So the first thing we really try to is to build the best local fiat ramps, on ramp or off ramp. And we have 17 different type of currencies today. And this is all local currency. So you're able to deposit your euros, your Swiss francs, GBP, within seconds usually, and you're able to withdraw them within seconds, which is really a fantastic thing. It feels almost like crypto with on fiat. And the second part was, how do you exchange this in the most easiest way possible? So as you said, we aggregated all these different sexes, and that you're able to convert your local currency or any crypto to anything else. So that was the first thing that was really cool, and always at the best price, because you're looking at ways to make sure that if you are, for example, owning, let's say, euros, and you want to buy, let's say, Solana, the euros will then be converted into maybe USDC or be converted into Ether, and then the Ether would convert it as US dollars. The US dollars eventually will be converted into Solana. So you're really doing what market makers are doing for any individual, and you're always doing this at the best price. So this was really the first thing that we worked towards, to provide the best user experience and be able to offer best execution, that means best price for anyone. Anything is swappable. And in 2022, we thought that, we saw Uniswap in 21 and we got excited about DEXs, that's for sure. And I think so, yeah, late 21, we're starting to say, okay, what would be the future of this market? And it's definitely going to be decentralized. Like what happened last weekend with Trump, there's no doubt about it, right? You could keep up with the SEX. The SEXs could keep up eventually, but it's very difficult. Phantom has been, growing the number of users. Now it's Moonshot. And you have more different other platforms like that, right? So you're having more and more the use of blockchain, which is great. So we were massive into Solana. CTO is like a massive fan. And they've been building on it since 21. And I was not a big fan, to be honest. But hey, I'm very happy to be proven that I was wrong. And in 22, we said, okay, or 23, we said, let's do the whole thing. And they're trying to say, okay, we can start with Solana with DEXs. I was like, no, man, let's start with Uniswap. And anyways, long story short, we went on Solana, and it was the only way that these open books were built. So the order books were completely centralized, limited order books on decentralized exchanges, which is the same technology that we have. And we started working with that, which was amazing. And today we have all the DEXs on Solana. So you could trade with your Swiss franc or your local currency and directly get the best token on any type of decentralized exchanges. And in the spot of just a month, we had 80 tokens. In the spot of only last month, we added 70 tokens. And going forward, we're going to be able to have one of the biggest catalog, if not the biggest catalog in the world for buying tokens. To add on to this, we just added this week Avalanche. So now you could trade as well through LFG and different DEXs that are on Avalanche network as well. It doesn't have the biggest amount of tokens yet, but we're still very bullish about Avalanche. So you're going to see more and more EVM chains as we speak, and we're going to be more and more building different DEXs essentially on Swissborg. Like that, you have the biggest catalog. You could, and we will front run every SEX. That's the beautiful thing, is that you could buy any token whenever it's on a DEX. You'll be able to list it. I'm not going to say how the listing is going to happen, because there's some cool things with BorgPad that's being built, and there's cool things as well with the community. But with the idea is that we'll be able to list anything we want, and the curation will be done in really cool ways. Yeah.
Love that. Yeah. I think that's kind of the future, right? You're combining the best of centralized exchanges with decentralized, and you get a nice hybrid there. So you touched on BorgPad, which I think is that's not something I've seen, especially coming from the more centralized exchanges, right? So can you talk to us about what BorgPad is and maybe how it improves the funding process for new crypto projects?
Yeah, that's a great one. So we always said that we're better than SEXs, and that's been our motto. SEX, obviously, it's CEX. But the whole idea behind BorgPad is to do what we did. We went through these ICOs, and we're one of the very rare ICOs still alive since the 2017 era. So I think we know what you could do and what you shouldn't do. I think that in the last cycle, the third cycle, there was not so many tokens that were launched in a fair launch way. It's quite the opposite. It was very VC driven, and I have nothing against venture capital, to be honest, but if you're putting all your eggs into a VC that owns 10% of supply, then giving it 20% to market maker or a Binance or whatsoever, 25 to 30% of all your tokens that are, they're going to be sold on retail eventually. It's just a matter of time. And that should be the opposite. I mean, if you have a huge community, and then eventually you get these the other people, but they still have the chance to be selling before. I think so. That's the right way. So I think so. BorgPad has brought a little bit that essence of back of 2017, how you could make ICOs great again, where you're able to get funding, we're able to really strategize with these teams to make the best out of it, and to create tokens that have real value and that have a community behind, and hopefully could build products in a successful way. It's really about liquidity bootstrapping, which is great. And if companies don't have enough funding and can't launch a token yet, it's completely fine. They could be part of our different seasons. We have different batches of different projects. We really coach them in the best way, and we get funding prior to the launch of the token. And we already done like at least 40 deals last year, which was like pre-launch of tokens. And these tokens would be vested on different conditions, all that. But it's a great way, again, to attract, even prior to listing, to get to let non-VCs invest, but let our community invest. So 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, 10,000 people that could be invested into these different projects, and then Liquidity bootstrap it through BorgPad, which essentially creates a pair on Radium or on Orca, which is Borg versus that token, or US dollar versus that token, or Solana versus that token. And essentially, it's a great way to, be the early people get into these projects, and as well have a strong community that we have. Today, we have 1.2 million users. And, among that, we have, almost 500,000 that are quite active. So it's really good. And it's European, which is, I would say, a very interesting base for many projects because, there's not so much European players that have a great community like ours.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there a particular project, or is there a project that has come out of the BorgPad that you find particularly interesting or, unique in some way?
I would say many, and I don't want to disappoint all of them, but I'll go for one. There's many. I mean, I participate in every deal each time, but the how do I evaluate projects usually is I look at 5 P's. And the first piece is the price action, because we're in the investment area. Second is people, product. Then I look at the promotion, if it's done in a world way, the growth of the project, and then the perks for the utility, because a lot of tokens exist and some of them have zero utility. And I would say the one that has done so far quite well, I think so 8 or 9x, is Borg. So that's a very close project though to Swissborg, because it's employees, former employees, some of them from Swissborg, so it's our really first spin-off through BorgPad. I like it, love the team, I like the product. They built like identity on chain for gamers. The protocol works very well. It's multi-chain already, and the promotion is done in a great way. Everyone's pushing it, so I think so. That's one of the great. But we just had recently Momates, I think so. It launched last Thursday, so last week. And those guys are doing AI agents, but they've done AI agents before AI agents was super cool. The 2021 AI agents, so they've been in this business. They already have a lot of Web 2 players, like people are playing chess, and you have this avatar that's like really coaching you, saying, oh, you did a great move, you did a bad move, and all that. So you have it, and the Web 3 now is where we're pushing it, right? So that's the whole thing. So there's a very broad amount. We're not sector focused. I think so. Everything should be great. There's Borgi as well, which is our dog or meme coin, and they have quite a cool roadmap too. So there's a lot of products. I would say tokens have been launched and projects have been launched that are very good, and trying to bring the best out of them and helping them to. I would say navigate the world of Web3 and at the same time make sure that the Swissborg community enjoys whatever they're building. Yeah.
So Cyrus, you mentioned that your communities can fund projects. How does that work? Can you expand on that? So myself, for example, how would I come across an interesting project that I might want to put some funds into? How can you explain that to us?
Yeah, I mean, every week or every 2 weeks, I would say within Swissborg app, you have, these alpha deals, which essentially enable you to participate in deals that are not launched yet. That's one way. Then you have it directly on decentralized matter, which is on BorgPad.com, where you could as well be able to participate in these different deals as well. But most of them are done usually in the app, these pre-seed deals. And then the real deals are happening on BorgPad, which is Liquidity bootstrapped during that process, and then just don't want people to. I mean, these are very great deals. They're the most riskiest deals, right? Because these projects are like very infantry. So out of 10 deals, you're going to probably do 3 that are going to score like stupid 5 more X or 10X or whatever. You're going to have then 3, 4 that are going to go okay-ish. And then you're going to do 3, 4 that, they just, it doesn't follow. So just things to make clear. We do our best to, of course, to help them, to boost them, and as well to filter them. But I just want to make things clear. These are the deals that have the highest risk, but the highest return too. The process, based on your premium level and with Swissborg app, so you have different premium levels. So basically on how much Borg tokens you stake, you are able to get into these different deals as well, because sub deals are extremely hard to get. I know, like the one was Fitchin. It's a really cool project that's on Deepin. It was last Thursday. I came like after 10 minutes. It was gone in a minute. So I used myself. So some of them are very difficult. But if you're on there, you're on the spot, and if you're higher your premium tier, easier you to get there because you have more vaults and more chance to participate and higher tickets to get in. But that's the way that you could do it. There's different whitelisting as well, ways to do this. But I can't cover all of them. But there are a few different ways as well.
I hope we all understand the inherent risks that are in crypto, right? And I think it's more so about having the opportunity to be early to something and invest early in something. A lot of times, I see people are late to the party or they didn't have that opportunity. So I love that, even though it's high risk, high reward, you still have that opportunity to make that decision before, the decision's made for you. So you mentioned Borg token and, you guys had that great ICO. What, and you mentioned the staking that's involved with Borg token and how that can help you get access to certain things. What role does Borg play in your whole ecosystem?
So first I want to show my beautiful sweater. I want to show my beautiful necklace. I want to show my beautiful pendants. Shoot, I don't have my boxer shorts, but usually I do have like Swissborg boxer shorts. Look, I mean, since the CHSB, which has evolved in Borg, the first one was CHSB, but the smart contract, long story short, sucked. It was 2017. There was no standard back then. And now it's multi-chain, our Borg token. We did swap 1-to-1, so there's no confusion here. But we changed it, and now it's sitting on Ethereum, but it's as well sitting obviously on Solana. Because I explained we did a lot of things with Solana, and BorgPad is actually on Solana's today. It might be on other chains going forward, but for now, we're very happy with those both. Right in the 2018, we did votes. We had referendums, one of the biggest ones actually back then, like 15,000 people voting on chain. You were getting rewarded, actually. You're minting other tokens while you're to vote, and then that would bring you back some other Borg tokens. Because again, there was no protocol, there's no snapshot, whatever. It was quite a mess, but it was cool. And when we got the Swissborg app, the main idea was to say, like, okay, if you stake essentially the Swissborg tokens, there's different levels of premium that enables you to reduce fees, that enables you to get to have a higher essentially yield on different tokens that we offer for yield, better experience in DeFi, get earlier products and all that, being able to invest in these alphas, as I mentioned, get bigger tickets, bigger eligibility. So we've always thought to how do we make sure that the Borg token is the centerpiece. There's buyback programs that we do. Then people vote on burning them or on getting a yield from it. There's a lot of things that we try to make sure that this Borg token's in the middle. We use it as well as a payment token within the Swissborg ecosystem, where people be part of different clubs, or they could as well essentially buy these basket of tokens that we have. We have bundles. For people don't know, bundles a bit like an ETF, but you own the bundle itself. So some of that goes into the Borg token too. So we really, whatever we do, long story short, we put the Borg token as a strong utility for it. And it's of course a great token for rewards that we give within the Swissborg ecosystem. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. I love when members can get, some type of incentives and rewards for playing around in the ecosystem. I think that is just such a great way to bring these concepts together. So one thing I want to talk about, especially with, someone who has that experience as you have, and you're so uniquely positioned to see things in this market. Mass adoption has become, such a buzzword in our industry these days. And you always hear it's coming, but never how it's coming. So I wanted to ask you, what's the trickiest part about bringing new users and new tech into the crypto world that maybe we don't see from the outside?
Yeah, that's a great one. I mean, it's said that everyone is pushing this theory that Web3 has been, a higher exponential amount of users that came into Web3 compared to people that are onboarded on Web1, which is, you could talk about that. The waves is always very difficult to understand but if you look at what have happened to Web1 or Web2 is that 90% of, the 7 billion people are in Web2 today have a social media account, and 50% of them have games, are playing games on their phone or whatever, or 40% maybe. So we've always been quite excited about social-fi. I've been always very excited about GameFi. This cycle, we haven't seen so much of that yet. So, but we're definitely excited about it. That's why for example, the spin-off Borg is one of our great one for GameFi. And the meme tokens have definitely exploded, right? I think so. Raoul Pal talks about that. I saw in one of his video, but like how to unfuck your future is the meme token is probably the best way. I said to many of my friends, especially those that are a bit lost in their careers whatsoever, I'm like, dude, just take 20K, man. And, I said that last year. I said to many, you're going to do 4X, man. It's going to be good. You're going to make some money. Just don't be too greedy. Don't be too stupid. But, you will make a lot of money there. And there was a huge amount of money. I mean, just again, last weekend, the Trump one was just crazy, right? And I think that's definitely have been the thing is where the only product is a chart, which is not very good. But these, the celebrity tokens, we pushed Iggy's, I personally pushed Iggy's token, not doing very well today, but was doing well when we pushed it. I think the celebrity tokens is definitely going to be growing. We have few celebrities I will not mention that contacted us just randomly. It was super weird, by the way. Can you talk? And I tell like, who is this? And like, oh, I'm the manager of him. Okay, yeah. Can I talk to the guy? Like, yeah, I'm a big fan. So we had like 2 calls like that recently, which was a bit weird. But I think so. There's going to be more and more celebrities that like to connect directly and get rewarded for whatever, or invest in these tokens and hopefully get to do some things a bit what we've seen in NFT in 21, 22. So that's probably going to come back. And Trump, I think so, has really shown the world that you can create a lot of these meme tokens, even if people talk at rug pull, all of that. I don't know. I think that, if you see a token at 75 billion market cap, if you come on, after 48 hours, there's just a pullback. I mean, obviously, there's going to be a pullback after 75 billion market cap. Come on. I don't know if that's a rug pull. Like anyone that had I got out. I didn't wait for $100 to get out. So, I mean, that's going to be definitely an interesting one. I still believe that, Avalanche has like really good, cool games. And that it takes time, but we're waiting for GTA 6 for 10 years. So, things take time.
I always say that. Yeah. The best games take 5 to 6, sometimes even 8 years to make. And
again, GTA, there are a lot of people at Rockstar, and they are rock stars. 10 years, guys. So that's a long time. Yeah. So yeah, things take time there, but then, the incremental or the increase could be huge. AI agents, I mean, I've been pushing Waifu, which was one of the Solana one. There's some cool ones, but they're not yet where they are, but when they will be there, it's going to be crazy. like Booking.com and all these guys are done. Like, why would you book to Booking.com? It takes 5% and 5% on both sides. You just, AI agent, give me a hotel that I want to go with my family in this city at the best rate. I have $400, find it, and they give you 3 things and directly connect to the hotel, and you're done. It's done. So you are going to see a huge amount of these protocols and or directly those applications that are going to be tremendously great. And then, of course, we go back to why Swissborg got into it, which is DeFi. They're great, and there's some good advancements there, and they're probably gonna, from Aave to Camino or Morpho, this has been a great advancement, right? Where you're able to take the risk out of the whole platform on one different liquidity pool or loan that you're giving. You're just segregating these into smaller compartments. This gives us a much better risk for example, Swissborg and our users. So you're seeing some improvements, I would say, in the DeFi perpetuals too, and we're definitely excited about that. And there's going to be more and more places. And I think so. What Swissborg always wants is how you bring the best investments products and create this marketplace with the best user experience, and how you add, wealth management to it to make sure that people understand what is good for them. It's not necessarily good for the others, but everyone has its own menu that he or she could build in an easy way.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're spot on about the gaming and meme coins to an extent. There's a mention, I want to give a shout to someone in our Discord actually talking about the Trump token. And I guess you can apply this to celebrity coins too, but now this can serve as a gauge of their popularity. If people are happy with them, or the token pumps. If they're upset with them, the token dumps. So I think that's an interesting concept with the meme coins. But that brings me to another question I have with all of this, right? There are security risks involved with this, and that's a major concern. Security and risk management in Web3 has been, I think everyone always talks about it at some one point or another. What measurements or measures or features has Swissborg implemented to help users manage, the inherent risks associated with crypto?
If you don't know where the yield is coming from, you are the yield. And that is very clear. Machinsky, I met him many times, hated that guy, really hated that guy. I really disliked Celsius. We were very competitors on the same time, but just was telling a lot of people that this is the biggest scam you'll go through. I didn't know about FTX. I mean, I knew SBF, but I didn't know that was going to go fall down, to be honest. I knew that Alameda was doing a lot of wrong things, but I didn't understand that the guy would take so much leverage on his own FTT tokens. But I think so. That's the biggest risk. We are seeing synthetic risk that's happening with a lot of stable coins, and some of them are going into stupid Luna, Terra type of schemes. So there's a lot of risk there. There's even greater projects that I cannot mention because I don't want to say, but there are some systematic risk that's over there too. What I love is that there's more and more on-chain activity, and on-chain activity, as you remember from, Luna was somewhere a bit on-chain though, but besides Luna, the whole, last cycle, there was not so many, obviously there was hacks, but or bridge that went down, but there weren't under collateralized loans that blew up or whatsoever. So I think so the systematic risk is a bit better than it was in the third cycle, sorry, but there's still, the possibility of that and how that could potentially compound that risk and go through Etana. That risk could then go through whatever USDE, and that could go through Aave, and you could have some of those black swan risks. There's the ETFs as well, which, I don't believe in any of it, but, if they want to fork whatsoever, all that, but I think so it's bullshit, to be honest. I don't think there's too much risk. The fact that Trump could tomorrow say, I don't believe in crypto anymore, but
oh gosh,
but it's done. I mean, he's the Michael Saylor of crypto, right? In a better way. And so yeah, it's hard. It's always hard. We have a risk force task that really thinks about that, and the partners we do try to because we went through multiple cycles. So they're hard, man. They're really hard. Not when it happens, but like the 6 months after, they're really hard because you take a lot of stress, then it's exciting. But then after you have to unfold that stress somewhere. And they are hard, definitely hard times. But yeah, at least what we try to is really always, get to make sure whatever we're doing, we're doing this in a smart way possible. So and not get exposure to any systematic risk that we believe could be dangerous. And that's why we've turned down multiple different other platforms for getting crazy yields or whatsoever. We really try to do a lot of due diligence there. And we rather favor staking, liquid staking, restaking, even some yield farming, or loan type of strategies, but that are really over collateralized, that are on chain, that we do the risk management ourselves, but with Gauntlet to other different people. And again, these segregated accounts that we do with Morpho right now are really cool. Hopefully soon Camino, and those are definitely strategies that people understand and get rewarded in a rightful way. But obviously there's risk everywhere. And that's another thing we do in the app. We say low risk, medium risk, high risk. It's very important to people to understand that before they're putting any of their money for passive income. Yeah,
absolutely. And I noticed you have some products too and education on your platform that help people understand the risks that they're getting involved with or understand DeFi and what's going on there. So I think those also are super helpful to new users and veterans all the same. I think it's always important. Cyrus, this has been an absolute pleasure chatting with you. One thing I love about you guys is your vision for financial freedom and democratizing wealth. That's something that our community here at Real Vision talks about a lot. And I want to know what's in store for Swissborg in 2025 and beyond. Potential plans to enter the U.S. market, maybe?
I mean, it's funny. Someone, an employee just asked me, tagging on Slack last night. I don't know what to answer. I don't know what's the answer. Look, we as a European company, you always have the understanding that the U.S. market is the market. Like we do Swissborg in the States, you do 10x the revenue, but back then you had probably 10x the problems too.
Yeah.
So now it's a bit different, and it's very different. I obviously cannot speak because there's the partners and all that, and the community that has to vote, which people don't realize as well, is that we don't have any external funding at Swissborg. So the company's shares are only owned by the employees and the users as well. So we have, we did as well a crazy fundraise for a Series A, which in 23, the worst timing when FTS just collapsed, where the Swissborg community were amazing to fund us with $23+ million. So if we all believe that, the U.S. market could be a huge thing for us and it would not take too much of our time in terms of whatever we have to do, I think so that could be a great thing. What I could ensure, though, is growing European markets is definitely what we want. I can't say we're about to get the MiCA license, but I hope we're going to get it soon. And that will enable us to expand in all the European markets. So that's like one of the big first things, because we are there, but we're not as present as we should in Germany. We're not as present in the Netherlands and maybe Italy, Spain, or whatever different countries. So we could really push there. Overseas would be definitely a good strategy because we have new Fiat rails that will enable this, hopefully in the next couple of months. The big thing, again, is being the marketplace who have the biggest amount of investment opportunities. And then number two is how you filter them. Because you, Bijan, well, you may be a DGen, let's say. We could then, give you all the higher risk type of things. And you could get into yield strategies or these bundles or just these different tokens that are lower than whatever, these type of market caps that are low that could, go to heaven or go to hell. But if you're just, let's say, the beginner, maybe probably if your mom or your dad wants to come on the app, I could imagine, well, we're just going to offer them the simple top best tokens or these bundles in easy way. They don't need to yield whatsoever. Just to have a very, very great user experience with few opportunities and try to build more and more of this tailored vision of how do you message people, how do you notify people, but how do you build an app there where you feel like, oh, this is my app. I feel comfortable with these tokens and these investment opportunities, where someone else has a completely different other app. And how do you customize that? I think so. That's where we hope we're going to head. And we haven't unveiled anything about that yet. But I really hope we get to bring this tailor-made type of portfolios and investment experience.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm definitely looking forward to watching your guys' growth. I think you have a great website. The user interface is fantastic. Admittedly, I'm in the US, so I didn't get a chance to play around on the app and, see what the pricing and the spreads and all of the yields are like. But from first glance, I had a very easy time navigating your website. And I think that's step one, right, to it. So congratulations there. Congratulations on where you've come to so far. And, good luck to your future and have fun in this bull market.
Will do. Definitely. Thank you so much. Very excited. Although Real Vision community, please check out our website, check out our app. We'll be very excited to enjoy the bull run with you guys, and hopefully you'll become Borgers and become financial free. So much love to everyone. Many thanks to you, Bijan. It was really cool.
Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next time.